In Part 4, we introduce the following passages which connect to the Lord's discourse concerning the days of Noah. And Jesus answered and said to them, The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are counted worthy to attain that age and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. Nor can they die anymore, for they're equal to the angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. Note what Jesus told the Sadducees. The sons of this age. Would that not refer to the present age they were in? But those who are counted worthy to attain that age. Would this not refer to the age which would follow? Didn't Christ, through his birth, life, ministry, death, and resurrection, not usher in a new age, the age we are in now? Didn't that age begin with his final ascension and commandments to his disciples and the day of Pentecost? Would those who were counted worthy to attain that age refer to those who went to the upper room in accordance with his instructions? Based on Luke 20:35, did Jesus identify the resurrection from the dead as a part of this age? But that is a subject for a different time. Now, let's return to the days of Noah to consider a connection to the trumpets in Revelation. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. Years ago, I was pondering what is meant by the bottomless pit described in the sounding of the fifth trumpet. Then Genesis 6:5 ran through my mind, and my question was answered. The bottomless pit is symbolic of every imagination of the thoughts of men's hearts being evil continually. And the result? The earth is filled with violence. This is the reality, is it not? And if Paul said that to be carnally minded is death, then the bottomless pit is an accurate picture of the carnal mind. Doesn't imagination and thought correspond to the mind? So let's back up a moment in Genesis chapter 6 and consider a few things. First of all, what preceded the wickedness of man and the thoughts of his heart becoming evil continually? Was it not the union of the sons of God with the daughters of men? Now, in keeping with this, when we consider the first 4 prophecies to the 7 churches in Revelation, we discover a falling away of his people. So might this union of the sons of God with the daughters of men correlate, typifying the gradual straying from the truth of Christ and his disciples? For this reason, when we reach the 5th prophecy to the 5th church, the Lord states, I know your works, that you have a name, that you are alive, but you are dead. Wouldn't dead correspond to the carnal mind? Is it not true that if the carnal mind takes precedence over the truth of Christ, that it will completely corrupt it? I believe that the 7 trumpets in Revelation correspond to the 7 prophecies to the churches. In other words, the sounding of the trumpets represent the unfolding of the prophecies. For this reason, the falling away seen in the first 4 trumpets leads to the opening of the bottomless pit in the 5th trumpet. This agrees with 2 Thessalonians 2:7. It's also interesting to consider Genesis 6:3, where we read, And the Lord said, My spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Would this correspond to the 120 who were in the upper room? Now, let's return to Matthew 24 and the questions which the disciples asked the Lord. Now, as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age? Deceivers, wars, rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. How did Jesus say it? All these are merely the beginning of birth pains. Remember, this speaks to our number 40, which typifies trial and probation. Friend, all these are a product of the carnal mind. And the sign of his presence? I've advanced the idea that this refers to the message of the cross, the concept of self-denial. This, I believe, is represented by the sounding of the sixth trumpet, which correlates with the prophecy to Philadelphia. The sixth trumpet is a revelation of the lake of fire or second death, which also symbolizes the message of the cross. For more about this, see my series, Hiding in Plain Sight, on this YouTube channel. First, the opening of the bottomless pit. Then, in direct contrast, the message of the cross, the principle of self-denial. First, the carnal mind, followed by the spiritual mind. First, that which is natural, and afterward, the spiritual. When will these things be? Asked the disciples. Is it not true that all of these things began shortly after his final ascension? So might the end of the age refer to the end of the Jewish system of religion, as opposed to the new age, which followed after? That is, the age we are in now? Would this question not be relevant since Israel and the Jews had lived under this religious system for thousands of years? Friend, based on the context of Matthew 24, 1 through 3, his disciples were not asking about the end of the world, far in the future somewhere, but the end of their religious economy, which they had known for so long. In keeping with this, Jesus told his disciples that they would be persecuted, hated, and killed for his name's sake. More false prophets would arise. The love of many would grow cold, but he who endures to the end shall be saved. The Lord then finishes his discourse with, "And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come." Might all the world speak of the world that then was in Jesus' day? The definition suggests this. There is certainly more to be considered. So in our next video study, we will examine several of the passages regarding the coming of the Son of Man.